GM, fellas. Welcome to my Post-Yama all setups and plugins guide for any level at Tob. Check the description, see where you're at. I'm going to start off with plugins. I hope you enjoy. Because there are so many plugins for Tob that I use, they're all the ones starred right here. I'm just going to run through them very, very quickly and just explain them in very brief detail. And if you want more detail, leave a comment or watch my stream, watch other videos, and it will explain it further. So advanced raid tracker, these are my settings. This can track individual rooms in a raid, and it will tell you how your teammates are doing. I'll show a screenshot of this above, I'm sure. Animation smoothing, I just like to play with it on. It's up to you if you play with it on or off. It just smooths the animations rather than just making it janky and stuttery. Anti-drag, I have this set to 20. Yes, I'm dog shit. It just means I don't drag things around my invent. Boost information. This is so that I can see my super combat, and it puts it in a box. I only have it on for combat because screw seeing everything else. Boss timers, this just shows the spawn timer overlays. I don't know why I clicked that, that's not for Tob. Boss wall remover, this removes the wall at SOT. Charge calculator, this actually is very helpful. Now with my sang, I can make my shift click uncharge, proceed, and then my left click is now charge, so I can do click, Z does everything minus 60, X does everything altogether. You can see the number changing depending on what I press, and then C is just to confirm. So if I do ZC, it means I keep 60 bloods. If I go ahead and uncharge this again and do XC, it means I put all of them in, which is very, very helpful just for a little bit of timekeeping when I'm doing speeds. And if you wanted my settings for this, here they are. Now moving on, we go on to custom menu swaps. This is the main one I use for Perfect Tob and the custom hides. I explained that in the video. As for custom swaps and stuff, I have a load of them here, but you can just manually make them in-game. You don't actually need to write any of this stuff anymore. If you want to shift click something, just hold shift, right click, and then set your settings. And yeah, as for everything else, this is just have a look yourself. There's nothing that crazy. Moving on, we got customized XP drops. This just means you can make your XP drops last longer, and it also means you can group everything. It's just for a bit of QoL more than anything. But here are my settings if you want them. And yeah, it's not too bad. It means you can also predict your hit and stuff like that. It's very clean. Death charge reminder, simple as. It just reminds you to do death charge. Very niche in Tob, but it works at Maiden and Mfrz. We move on now to entity hider. On the entity hider, I had dead NPCs, hide thralls, very useful. Don't need to hide anything else other than that. It just means you don't have to wait for death animations and can make you save some time here and there. NPC control, I have this. It just means that you can see your frames in game. This is important because, you know, if you see yourself dropping frames, you know that it might not be your mistake at certain things like humid bloat. Anyway, moving on, GPU, these are my settings. I used to have my FPS target at 50 because apparently it made the game smoother. It made no difference in my life, so I moved it back to 144, even though I used it for a while. Godbook, this is useful at P1 Mfrz and in other rooms if you get into your speeds properly. Here are the settings. 157 is because that gets you back to 100 spec. You can make that higher if you really want. Ground items, again, you can set these all yourself these days. This is what I have from back in the day. Here are my settings if you want to copy any of them. Feel free. Ground markers, I have them off right now, but this is just to mark tiles. Very useful in Tob. Just mark tiles, color them in, copy my tiles, whatever. You can also use tile packs, that also works. Ground object hider, again, this is just for Bloat and for Mfrz. This hides the floor completely so that you can just sit there and have it hidden, along with Skybox, which we'll get onto later. I'll leave these in the description. Now onto hub party panel. There'll be a load more party plugins coming later. They're all very important for defense tracking, venge tracking, all of that stuff. Please use the party plugins. It's so useful. Instant inventory, don't worry about this unless you're going to be 3 ticking P1, which is very, very advanced, but will become very, very relevant soon. It just means everything swaps instantly. It looks really weird and it's weird to get used to, but I'm personally a massive fan and think it should be the default in the game for various reasons. Inventory setups, this is very nice because it means, these are my settings first off, it means that you can set setups. So you see here, I've got a bunch of them because of all the different niche stuff I do in Tob. I need different setups depending on the team's level, scale, whatever. There's so much to do. Inventory tags, this is nice for a few things. I use this for my vial at Bloat, and I also use it for my sang, as you saw earlier. Up to you. Key remapping, I have a 6% keyboard, so I've remapped a few keys. Don't worry about it if that's not for you. Low detail, I play with low detail mode. Don't if you don't want to. I just think it looks nice. Menu entry swapper, again, these are my settings, but realistically, have a look around yourself. The main important one is swapping shift click for walk hunter. And you want to prioritize that completely. It's nice in a lot of places. Extended is just the same thing, just with some different settings. Have a look yourself. Feel free to copy mine. The thing with extended that I quite like, or used to like, was that you can default all chaos, but I think you should do that in game now. A lot of these become irrelevant as it's become allowed to just start shift clicking things in game and setting your new settings. Monster and menu HP and monster HP percentage. This shows the health bar on the crabs and the name of the crabs, which is really, really nice to know which one to hit and which one to prioritize, etc., etc. Not the biggest, not the smallest difference, but whatever. Now on to NPC indicators. Again, this is just stuff I've marked over time. These are my settings. Have a look. I know you probably know it exists. Nyloer death indicator is very useful because instead of the entity hider showing death, this will also show the death of Nyloers from your team as well, which becomes very relevant. Nyloer, now there's a lot more to this one, unfortunately. Show Nyloer wave, click that. Spawn prefix, set it to S. And then the main important one is the darker wave. So this font config, I'll put in the description. This just hides 20 to 22 Nyloers because they're irrelevant for everything, so long as you don't install pre-28. And then talking of pre-28, if you don't install 28 is the darker wave. If you kill everything before they naturally explode, that'll be 255 waves. 27 is 250. 27 offset 4 is 252. That's how you get Nyloer waves. That's how you get better at Nyloer. Please, please, please use it. And then these are my roll swappers. I think they're just default. But again, use the N, the black N and white, black and white N in the side. This will tell you what stalls you've had, and then you can swap your rolls here, and it will prioritize accordingly. Very, very, very amazing plugin. Thank you very much to Toki for that one. Moving on, party plugin. These are the big ones. Party, party, party. Make sure you have all of these. These are my settings. This will just tell you who's venged, who hit specs, what the defense of certain bosses are. Very, very, very nice. And then, yeah, moving on now. We've got the Phoenix Necklace jingle. You'll see this at Bloat. It basically just jingles every time you proc a neck, so you know you're absolutely fine. If you're not doing humid or anything, or any stalls, it's just very nice to keep track of it. And it means that you can also get used to P-neck flicking, because you hear the jingle, you know you can put salve on for a couple ticks, so long as you're not getting double flied. Player indicators, again, this is just to mark people in the party, so you know who to venge and who's who, like who's the mage or whatever. Radius markers, now these are some settings that you need to copy. Follow this, and then in the description, I will have actual radius markers. At the top of the actual plugin, there is a thing called export, and there's a thing called import. Click the import and have my things copied, and I'll send all of these in the description so you have all the Nyloers marked in Tob. Very, very useful plugin. Now we're on to Runelight. People always ask my game size. Here it is. These are my settings. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. I don't think I've ever really touched them. I hate plugins. Screen markers, these are just on for SOT and Bloat, humid and stalls respectively. Skybox, this is the color I play with now. It's like a grey color. Just when you've hit on the floor, it means that it's that color rather than black, so you can see all the shadows and stuff at Bloat. Spellbook, I have this on just so I can rearrange my spellbook and stuff. Very, very useful at times. Stretch mode, this is my settings, along with the size I gave you earlier. I don't know. It's just nice. It feels nice. There's no real reason for it. Theatre of Blood stats, this is so you can see the things in chat of like how fast you did rooms, percentages, whatever. Quite nice, quite cool to track, whatever. Tick counter, this is on if you want to do weedy raids and want to work out who's leeching, who's not. It will just tell you, it will put a box on your screen, it will tell you who's leeching ticks, etc, etc, etc. Every 100 ticks is basically 60 seconds. So if someone's 100 ticks behind you, that means they've AFK for 60 seconds more than you. If I was to go to weedy raids right now, I reckon I can be ahead by 3 minutes, which just shows how much people AFK in the raids. And it's a nice way to get better and make friends and know who's good and who's not, because sometimes it's hard to tell. Tile indicators, here we go. These are my settings. It just means you can track your tiles. Very useful, very nice. Tile packs, again, as I said earlier, if you want to use tile packs, go for it. Tob notice board, I just have this on, just so it's easier to track your teams if you're on 416 or 474 or whatever busy worlds. Tob predicted hit, this is very nice for seeing what people hit at Maiden. It's not a cheap plugin as much as people wanted to. I only have it on at Maiden. It just means that you can see what your ranges, what you hit as a ranger, and so you can predict whether 70s, 50s, and 30s are spawning. Very, very nice for that. Tob QoL, this is a big one. Copy my settings as below. If you've seen any of my videos before, this is why a lot of the things are how they are. And then you want to be using Tob QoL for the in-room timers, because you can make it smaller, you can make it look cute. All of these things have a purpose. Tob QoL is literally the go-to plugin. I don't know who made it, but big, big shout out to them. And then, yeah, you can track loot now these days. Visual metronome, I talk about this in some videos. The settings I always change is tick above player, show tick number, and then number of colors, 7. You sometimes put that to 4 if you want to learn how to do Zarpus. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You can set a reset timer, whatever. It's a very, very nice plugin to get used to. How good. And then XP drops. Again, just nice. Just nice. Now onto setups. And whether you like it or not, this is now the peak male form. I can't believe it. We have to go around looking like a fucking Rubik's Cube. Oh my god. Set effects, please, Jagex, please. I look so ugly. I hate it. But the reason being is because you lose 0.1% around abouts DPS on Maiden, Nyloer, and Zarpus by not having Torva top and bottom, but you gain so much at Soat and Verzik because Soat can only go down to 100 defense and Verzik has all her defense. So the accuracy gained is exponentially more important than the DPS loss in the other rooms. So yeah, this is now the peak male form, looking like a Rubik's Cube. How good. Oh my god, I hate it. So for standard mage, we have this. If you're really worried about supplies, switch the Rancor for a Blood Fury. And also, if you're wondering what the P-Neck's for, it's for bloat, so you can survive. But if you don't want to use a P-Neck because you're scared, then that's fine. Be a pussy, take an angler instead, or something else. I don't really know, I don't really care. This is the most bare bones I'd ever make it. If you're binning range gear, you're trolling, because that means your range at Maiden is disgustingly bad. If you're really, really struggling for invent, change these two items for Avoid Helm and bin the Ralos. But honestly, you shouldn't struggle with this invent. If you are, then you're not standard. You need to go back to learner, baby. Now for Mage, we've slightly changed this up. We've added a ZCB, added a Lightbearer, got rid of the BGS because you should be doing proper spec procedure at this point. And note that we've changed the souls for a Chaos. This is for Ice Blitz at Maiden. If you know what that is, don't worry, you can take the souls, but you should never Blood Barrage anyway. So I don't know why you have them in the first place. I added it in for standard because some people might feel like they need it, but they don't. They don't. And then yeah, again, Blood Fury if you're really scared, but please just be a human. Thoughts? This is the setup for the new Max F Mage. I will put out the video later this week. I promise. I'm going to make all the Max F guides this week. There is a lot of new procedure. It's very cool, very exciting. That's why everything in this invent is very specific. If you're not doing the new money setup, then use the advanced one that I left before. And good luck. Now this is the melee free setup. Obviously, again, if you're worried, you can use Blood Fury, but I wouldn't recommend it. Don't drop any of these switches. This is the bare minimum. Sulfur Blades are better than Swift, and Thingy Enforce melee freeze, in my opinion, and in pretty much everyone else's, unfortunately, even though I'm a Swiftblade lover and enjoyer. This setup's decent. Don't forget to pre-pot a heart and then a Menafite, so that your heart will tick down. You'll still have some mage bonus in Nyloer. You can always trade the mage if you really want, but there's no real point. You'll be fine in this setup. Good luck. And now for the advanced melee free setup. Again, if you need Blood Fury, you can take it, but I wouldn't recommend. We've also switched the Chaos out for souls, as we did before. Yeah, pretty much everything here is useful and needed. It's a great setup. I'm sure you'll smash it. This is good fun, very good fun. Again, pre-port, heart, and then Menafite. And now this is the Max F setup. Again, a video will be made this week of the new procedure, so if you don't know it yet, don't worry about it. I will be releasing a video very, very soon. Now this is the standard range setup. Just make sure you're venging and pot sharing. That's basically it. There's not much else to it. Very easy setup. I haven't even bothered to equip two things at the same time for extra event space because you just shouldn't need it. This is so much space, so many supplies. What a chill setup. Now this is the advanced setup. It assumes your melee DPS is not pot sharing. If he is, you'll be absolutely swimming. You can just bin the water rooms and even the range pot if you really need to, but you're going to be chinning at Maiden, so you should probably keep the range pot. If you're really struggling for invent, get rid of the Anguish, get rid of the ZCB, but really this should be fine. Get used to spellbook swapping. It's very, very useful. Nice big DPS increase. Magical. Enjoy. Good luck. Now for Max F and new monies. So this is the setup. Again, a video is coming out this week. I promise I'm going to show you procedure. It's crazy. I can't wait for you lot to see it. It's going to be so cool. Now onto melee DPS, the biggest leech roll. This is the setup for standard if you're really worried about invent. Even though you've got the most supplies out of everyone, bank the void, take some more supplies, you little shitter. But yeah, other than that, this is the setup. With the new Aether runes, we now have Death Charge as well as everything else, the Thralls, the lot. So this is pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Got some good DPS here. Now this is the advanced melee DPS with the bloat procedure. Without the bloat procedure, I'll put straight after. But yeah, this is basically it. You need the 6 necks, unfortunately. With the new Aether runes, we get new invent slots, so we're just replacing that with a Surge pot, and then you can bin the Lightbearer even. I don't know. This is just like a preliminary one. I'll put another one now. And now this is the one without bloat procedure. If you're really struggling for invent, bank the Avernic, and then bank waters and range pot if you really need to, but you should be fine with this. This is just the one without bloat procedure. And now this is the new setup for melee DPS, Post-Yama Monies. Again, I'll be putting out the video with actual procedure out this week. I hope you enjoy. I hope this helps. Good luck with the Tobs. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, boys. Now, as I say, there'll be plenty more of these Post-Yama guides coming very, very soon, including my P3 Versit guide, all the new money tech, and I'll be putting out trio setups if that's something people want. They just haven't been made yet. The reason for the delay is because everything's getting finalized before I want to make these videos, because I want to give you guys finalized content. I hope you have a great week. Catch my stream, twitch.tv/S2_OSRS. See you all soon. Good luck with the Tobs.